Juggalos and juggalettes, welcome to another edition of the world famous Juggalo Show. I am Rude Boy right here once again, holding it down with my homies, of course, the one and only, my road dog, my partner in crime. I'm talking about Jumpsteady in the building. What up, Jumpsteady?
Hey, what's up, Rudy? Hey, it's a good night here tonight because just like the last show, we're talking about more supernatural phenomena, more unsolved mysteries, if you will, on the planet Earth, stuff that has boggled the mind and mystified man since the beginning of time. We're talking with none other than my brother, Violent J, of course, Joe Bruce, on a bunch of different topics, the main one of which tonight is UFOs.
All right.
Yes.
Ooh. And of course, we've got the other co-host in this beautiful television program, if you will, the one and only Kegan The Creep ass.
What's up? Glad to be back. We got a good show lined up for you guys tonight.
And of course, we got the newest member of the Juggalo Show. I'm talking about the one and only Glow is in the building. Yes, I said it. Fuck yeah, I said it.
Wouldn't that be considered harassment?
I mean, if I have my hand on her butt. But look at me, I'm Me Too movement. I'm way over here.
That's why we put him over there.
I'm way over here. I got my hands in my pocket.
Right. Okay, great.
But my mind is somewhere else.
Right. Exactly.
No, man, that's that R. Kelly shit. That ain't me. Anyways, once again, we are back. Just like Rob said, we got the big UFO story going down. But before we get into that, we're going to be talking about FFF, of course, the one and only Fearless Fred, you know, the man. But I'm sorry, Violent J wanted to talk a little bit about the solo tour, if you will.
Oh, yeah,
Violent J.
Yeah, I never got to explain why I canceled my solo tour. I don't think we ever put anything out explaining why, you know?
No.
And that's kind of rude on my behalf, but actually my brain has been skipping unnecessary information and just forgetting to address the situation. So my apologies to anybody that had tickets or maybe wondered or possibly even worried why the tour got canceled. And I just wanted to explain it on a public forum, if you will.
Right.
Or if you won't. And this is a good place to do it right here at the Juggalo Show, you know what I'm saying? So real quick, I just wanted to say that what happened was when we originally scheduled the two solo tours, my tour and Shaggy's tour starting at the same time, you know?
Right.
We scheduled those tours months and months ago, you know, under the assumption that the Fearless Fred Fury album would be long done by then.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we'd have the photo shoots done and probably 2 or 3 videos shot and in the can and everything situated and done by the time those tours started. But what happened was nothing of the sort. You know what I'm saying? Actually, we ended up working on the album literally up until the night before we left. You know what I'm saying?
Before you got on the bus, you were still working on it.
Straight up, yeah. I mean, you know, we worked on it. You know, we had to stop for a minute to do the acoustic shows,
right,
and put those mixes together. That took a couple weeks, but the album just took, you know, a long time. I mean, we wanted to perfect it in our eyes. You know what I mean? And we've worked on it very much closed-minded, very much, what do they call it, one-track minded. Like, all we focused on was the album.
Right.
So I'll be dead honest. I didn't think about the tour. I didn't think about any of that. I just thought about the album. The album. Every day, that was my focus, was the album, you know? And so when we wrapped it up and we got out, literally on the first day of my solo tour, everything started slamming into my head. Like, for example, we didn't even do a fucking photo shoot for the booklet of the album. We didn't even take pictures yet. And I'm like, I'm on this tour until the day the album comes out.
Right.
And we don't even have a photo shoot done, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Let alone a video or anything else we're supposed to have done, you know? And I'm like, how the fuck are we going to do this?
Yeah.
And we only put an album out, you know, it's been almost 4 years.
Yes.
You know, and I'm like, and we're supposed to be out doing a solo tour until the day the record comes out at Juggalo weekend, you know? And I'll be honest, I don't really care about a solo career. You know what I'm saying? It's not much of a concern for me. You know what I'm saying? And I got out there and all these realities started slamming into my head like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? Because to do, just say, a photo shoot, not only do I have to have the day off on my tour, but Shaggy needs to have the day off as well.
Right. Let's point out, Joe, that your tour left 2 weeks before Shaggy's.
Yeah.
So he had time.
Yeah.
He had time you didn't have time.
Right. And just to do anything, though, as the tour goes on, to shoot a video, to do anything, we needed to line up the day off. We both needed the day off. Then where are we going to meet? Where are we going to make it happen? You know, we're on the tour, so we got to figure all this stuff out. To shoot a video outside of Michigan for us is hard to do as it is, you know what I'm saying? And you know, a tour, especially a solo tour, is going to come and go. But Fearless Fred Fury, that's part of our history. You know what I'm saying? It was much, much more important to us, the album. You know what I'm saying?
Priority.
Like, I'll be honest, especially a solo tour. I really don't care about a solo tour. You know what I'm saying? And so basically, I was like, fuck this tour. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got shit to do. We got a lot of work to do. And if I'm home, you know what I'm saying? All we got to do is wait for Shaggy to have a day off. You see what I'm saying? And then fly Shaggy home and we can do whatever we needed to do. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to line us both up with a day off. You know, if I'm based out of home, you know, Shaggy, we don't have to cancel both tours.
Right.
Shaggy can continue to do his tour. And every time he has a day off, we can make things happen.
And when you're home, you could still tweak everything that you needed to for the record, for the
because you guys are working on the record all the way up until the tour, basically.
Yeah. But then we came home and continued working on it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because Shaggy still had a while before his tour started, so we ended up finishing the album probably 6 or 7 times. I think one time we even blasted it out on social media. The album is done. Thank you to everybody. And it wasn't done. Like, I mean, I sat with it and lived with it for like 4 days, and then I'm like, you know, certain things started to show up that I'm like, oh, I wish we did this or that, you know. So really, we ended up right back in the studio, but you know, we did finish it, you know, not by a deadline. Like, we finished it before we had to, so that's when I knew it was really done.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, if a deadline would have came and went, then it would have been like, oh, we had to settle for what we did.
Right.
But we actually finished the album, and we could have still fucked with it probably for another 6 days.
Right. Right.
So, you know, we did it. But anyway, yeah, I just said fuck my solo tour, you know, and I really, sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, man, apologize to Isham. You know, because, like, man, he was on the tour with us, and I had to do what I had to do, and I felt terrible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To you, Rudy, and to Carlito,
Oh, man.
and to Isham, because, you know, you guys made arrangements and plans to go out on the tour, you know, but I knew that you guys would be able to understand because we're in the same boat. You know what I mean? I just felt bad for Isham because, you know, he's running his career, and he made a lot of plans and things to do for what he had to do, and suddenly that's out the window, you know?
Sure.
And I felt terrible. I still do feel terrible, but, you know, I had to do what I had to do for the best of the album, you know what I'm saying?
And of course, all the ninjas that were coming out to
Yeah.
the shows, you know what I mean?
Well, the
Like,
thing
you
is
know,
like,
especially if you bought tickets in advance and stuff. you know?
Albuquerque and Tucson, those juggalos are they're all over social media like, aha, we got it, and you didn't.
Right.
I'm like, that's bold, man. Don't do that. Don't that ain't cool.
I definitely apologize to any of the ninjas that bought tickets and wanted to come out, you know. And man, all I could say is my heart was in the right place because it was focused on the album, you know what I mean, being a great product. And that's something hopefully people can live with forever. You know what I'm saying?
Sure,
yeah.
And the tour was just an experience for a night, you know.
Right.
All the same, we still apologize to everybody across the nation that plan to go and everything. And, you know, sincere apologies. And we'll probably do a solo set at the Gathering,
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And then we're gonna still do a solo set at Juggalo Weekend. You know what I mean? But the gathering.
As long as I get to rock the stage with my brother, that's all that matters.
Every time I ever do a solo set, you know. But we just had the album to work. We didn't plan on the album being so fucking taking so long, but it did. You know what I mean? And we had to do what we had to do. You know,
It's perfection, Joe.
and we had to do what we had to do. And so, man, that's what happened. That's why we came home. And you know, Shaggy just flew home the other day, and we did some work in New York, and we did some work here. And pretty much every time he's got a day off, he's coming here, and we're taking care of things. You know what I mean? So, and you know, and I'm here taking care of this, and we're making the best of this time before the album comes out.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? For the album and for the respect of Joker's card, you know, which only comes along every so often, you know.
Right.
Like I said, it's been almost 4 years.
It
know?
has been 4 years, absolutely.
You know, so yeah.
Shout out to Shaggy and the tour out there tonight.
Yeah.
They're in Florida.
Whoop, whoop.
Much love to those guys. They're out doing the damn thing.
And we were just talking about what kind of snow.
Oh yeah, 8 inches of
8
snow
inches
coming
in
tonight.
Shaggy's in Florida,
Right.
And we got 8 inches coming tonight.
Hey, but wait a minute. We were in fucking Albuquerque, New Mexico, in the fucking desert, and there were 4 inches of snow.
It followed us.
Right.
Yeah.
4 inches of snow. They had to shut the whole town down.
Fucking
man.
followed us, man. It was cold as a motherfucker.
Remember
too,
that?
man.
Oh my God! But anyways, man, we are here on the Juggalo Show. My God, it's so good to see you once again here, Violent J. Now let's talk a little bit about the new album, and since it's been perfected, tell us, please give us an insight on is this would you say one of the most difficult albums you put together?
Well, no, it was. Well, maybe it was. It wasn't difficult as in, like, you know, the bone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like a hard task. It just was. You know, it was. We just really wanted to do our best. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the best we could fucking possibly deliver, and I feel like we did that. You know, if when the history books are written and everything's said and done, this record represents Insane Clown Posse 2019 to the fullest, to the best of our abilities.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this is everything we got, and I know we gave it everything we got, so I'm proud of that. You know what I'm saying? This is absolutely the best we got to give right now. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't saying that that's any less than it's ever been. I feel like we're as good as we've ever been. Like, when I listen to the record, I don't think, oh, we're not in our prime no more, no shit like that. I think we're killing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really do. Sometimes I stop. I don't want to sound like a conceited dickhead or something, but sometimes I listen to the music and coming off the stage, and I'm like, is this right? Because I know I'm technically old as a motherfucker, but I feel great. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like, I feel like the music is killing it. I don't feel like physically I'm taking a step back on stage or nothing. I feel, you know, and I'm like, I feel like I'm cheating or something, you know, because I feel really good. Like, I feel like we're murking it on the album. We're murking it on the stage. And I'm waiting for that, you know, the feeling of being old and dialing it down. I'm waiting for that to kick in because it ain't fucking happening for me. You know?
I'll tell you what, every night when I was out there with you, I looked over, I was like, who is this 20-year-old all over this stage? What the fuck is going on?
I was asking myself the same thing. Then I realized it was Carlito. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my goodness, man. Juggalos, once again, thank you guys for joining us tonight right here on the Juggalo Show. This is Violent J, our very special guest in the building. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with the UFO story. Are you ready for UFO
I'm
story?
so ready.
Because I don't believe in UFOs. I don't believe in none of that shit.
Well, let's see
I'm
how
waiting
you
to be
feel.
sold.
Let's see how you feel. You got to be honest, though.
I will.
Don't hold your ground if inside you change your mind by the end of the show.
And Rudy, I'm gonna say this, like, just the research I've done on it, like, in our lifetime, I fully believe there's gonna be some big revelations in our lifetime coming around the corner.
Let's just make it.
on the UFO tip.
Let's just make sure everybody's honest
Yes.
about how they feel.
Open-minded.
Right.
Glow, do you believe in UFOs?
I don't believe in humans.
Good answer. Good answer.
So we'll be right back on the Juggalo Show. Don't you dare go nowhere. This is Violent J and the crew right here. Juggalo Show 2000. 2019.
Whoa.
All right, welcome back to the Juggalo Show right here on Psychopathic TV, Facebook. The one and only Violent J is in the house with us tonight. Thank you once again, brother, for hanging with us. Now, the platform is yours because you how long have we known each other? About 35 years, maybe 40 years? Maybe like I remember when Moses parted the Red Sea. I was on one side, you was on the other. I was like, "What up, dog?" He was like, "Hey, what up, homeboy?"
Was that when we first met, or was it back in the pyramid? I thought we met when they was building the pyramid.
I was like, "What are they doing with all those bricks?" Anyways, we're back here, and my lifelong homie, my brother, man. I mean, more than anything, Violent J is because it seems as though a whole room full of believers and one guy sitting, and I'm always the alternative one.
Yes, you are the alternative one, and you know what though? I think who has most to gain out of the people in this room. I'm not sure exactly what Glow's opinion is on the
She's
extraterrestrials, but Rudy, I think your brain has a lot to gain of knowledge, of wonderful, splendid awakening to happen tonight in this next 2 hours.
Well, the platform is yours.
All right, well, let's kick it off like this. Let me just kick it off. I don't have the exact numbers, but I'm sure it can be looked up. All right, there was a guy. That did a breakdown, a study, whatever you want to call it, right? Looking at all the known stars out there in space, and knowing that each star is a sun, right? And has essentially it's probably its own universe, right? Has its own planets orbiting it and all that shit like that, right? Looking at all the known stars and factoring in our star, which is the sun, and how far Earth is from the sun, and looking at all the known stars that our technology and telescopes can see, factoring in how far Earth is from the sun and the moon and all that, and the oxygen and water on the planet, and factoring in the probability of how many other planets are there similar to Earth. You see what I'm saying? That far from the sun. And you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, how many other planets are out there that are probably similar to Earth as far as the oxygen and the water and the chances of sustaining life?
Sure.
And just from what we can see, the chances of there not being life on another planet out there are non-existent. In other words, there's probably so many other Earths where the conditions on the planet are like Earth, it's not even countable. You get what I'm saying? Like, so pretty much the chances of there not being life on another planet, because the chances of there not being another Earth. You get what I'm saying? Where the conditions are just like Earth.
Right.
You see what I'm saying, Rob?
Yeah, it's like the planet Earth, is so minute and small in the vastness of space in the galaxy. There's trillions of other planets
just like Earth.
You know what I'm saying?
With the same conditions.
Right.
Out
you know
there.
what I'm saying?
They're everywhere.
And to be like, well, we're the only ones in the entirety of known existence that could actually support life and create life, like the evolution of man, like how we came out to be.
You know what they don't have?
What's that?
Psychopathic records.
Damn.
We don't know that though.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, basically this guy broke it down. Some scientist or whatever broke it down to see like what are the chances of there being another planet out there, exactly like Earth. As far as the the what we just talked about. And there's not only another Earth, there's countless. Like, you can't even count how many there are of other planets just like Earth. You know what I'm saying?
So why haven't, in the technology, by your own admission, the technology that we live in that has evolved so much, why haven't we visited these other Earths?
First of all, we're like monkeys.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
We're in the infancy of
we're
technology.
mad fucking uncivilized. Yeah. Like, Earth is crazy fucking dumb. We can barely get to the moon.
Like, you think about even hundreds of years ago where we were technology-wise. You know what I mean? Think about where we're going to be, like, if the planet lives that long, where we're going to be 10,000 years in the future.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
We don't kill all
Aliens
each other
come
off
here.
by then.
Aliens come here. Probably the majority of them are like, it's not even worth fucking with them. You know what I'm saying? Because they're so barbaric. It's like us fucking with ants. Like, why do we want to teach a bunch of ants? You know what I'm saying? Like, who gives a fuck? Let them evolve and do their thing. We'll move on. You know what I'm saying? like most aliens don't even, like, they're just like, okay, they're really underdeveloped. You know what I'm saying? We're just gonna let them go and fuck with them later. You know, other aliens are coming here and they're like, oh man, these guys are really fucking stupid. They're about to wipe their planet out. You know what I mean? They're about to the ozone layer and the things we're doing to the planet. So they stop here and they try to help us. You know what I mean? It's so crazy. Where do you begin?
Right, exactly.
Where should we begin?
I want to ask you guys:
Well-
do you guys think that aliens in this time? Are you one of the people that think that they have visited or they're here right
They
now?
are here in the multitudes, and I'll prove it to you.
Okay.
I'll prove it to you.
Okay.
Let me start from the beginning.
I've seen the footage of President Obama as an alien.
No, nothing like
I've
that.
seen that.
Check it out.
Okay, so can we start with the whole, like, the theory of what you're talking about?
Sure.
That basically our government, like the theory is
Not just our government, every
like,
government
okay,
of every major country.
For one, there's governments right now that are straight up like aliens exist. Other governments, not our government, not in the United States, but elsewhere. They're like, aliens exist, and they actually look down on the United States for
fronting,
trying to
like they're
keep us
not.
in the dark.
Do you
Like-
mind sharing what governments that is?
Yeah,
I'm
I'll-
definitely curious.
Well, I'm gonna show you a video right here. This was in Mexico. If you can bring up that
That's
video.
a lie, because Mexicans don't believe in that shit.
Okay, listen. This is Mexico's nod. They released this video. This is recent. They released a video that actually
Look, we're gonna release anything to get here, bro.
right. And also in France too. Like, you know, there's different governments that are like, look, UFOs exist. Like there's
It's a shame
indisputable.
we're lying to the-
There's
it's a shame.
indisputable proof that they exist, and why are you trying to keep all your people in the dark? Like, why are you trying to keep them all ignorant? Like, we should be addressing this as a world, like as a whole world.
Can
as
we
a
say
species.
why?
Well, of course,
Well,
Mexico.
We're gonna get into that.
Well, of
but-
course, Mexico. We've been trained to let everyone know that we're illegal aliens anyway.
Aren't a lot of those areas
play
where
that
crash
video?
sites are found in
Go
Mexico?
ahead.
New Mexico, yeah, like Roswell.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Let's.
That's where we were supposed to go, to Roswell.
Capturing
Jay.
on videotape what are said to be 11, count them, 11 UFOs, unidentified flying objects. They are officially that. Bright objects, some sharp points of light moving quickly across the sky. The tape called historic by some. Members of the Mexican Defense Department saying it's the first time UFOs have had the backing of any country's armed forces. Now, a group of activists calling on the United States government to end what it says is an embargo on the truth about extraterrestrial life. What is that thing on your screen? With us now from Washington is Stephen Bassett, founder and executive director of the Extraterrestrial Phenomena Political Action Committee. Last time he was here, he was running for Congress, was unsuccessful in that venture. But I will ask you today, sir.
I wonder why.
The Mexican government, the Mexican military says, hey, we took these pictures. These are UFOs. What was that? Do you know?
This is significant for two reasons, Shepard. One, this is released by the Defense Ministry of Mexico. This is a message being sent to the United States government that Mexico and many other governments are losing patience with our government's intransigence in ending this embargo. Other messages have been sent by France in 1999 with the Cometa report, and by the United Kingdom when they released a substantial number of documents regarding the Bentwaters case in 2000. Many countries know about the extraterrestrial presence, but they've deferred to the United States with regard to the timing of when disclosure would take place, but they're simply losing patience.
How do we know this, by the way?
Well, we know it by paying attention. I've been following this now for 10 years. We call it the politics of disclosure, the disclosure process. Hundreds of government witnesses in this country have come forward, and other governments are putting pressure on our government. The media hasn't covered it thoroughly enough, Shepard. If it did, it would learn about some of the things I'm mentioning here, and also learn about thousands of other videos and photographs that have been taken over Mexico by Mexican citizens since
There's
1991.
absolutely no question about that, and his number, thousands, is accurate since 1991. Thousands of pictures and videotapes of discs, but never anything like this. taken by such sophisticated cameras on board military vehicles.
Oh, there's been plenty of...
But not as clear and widespread as this, and government confirmed in this way. I'm just saying that these are unusual in that
Oh, no,
way.
it's happened many times before, but this is the first time it's been released. Believe me, there is evidence like this in the archives of every major first world government in the country, but they release this publicly in a news conference in Mexico City. That's the difference.
Studies have been done that, quote, clearly indicate the likelihood of an extraterrestrial explanation. But there are people sitting out there, I'm hoping there are millions of people watching at the moment, who are saying, this is nutty. Why, you know, why do we even talk about such things?
The polls show otherwise, Shepard.
Listen. First of all, first thing we got to do for real is we got to, like, I know we all want to crack jokes and everything, but we got to really open our minds here for a minute, all right? Seriously, this is real shit. You gotta realize, man, we live in a country, man. I mean, how long has kingdoms been? I don't even know where to begin. It's so fucking heavy. Like, how long has kingdoms been lying to their people? Like, this is a civilization, earthling. That's what people do on Earth. They, you know, how many times has kingdoms pillaged and fucking starved their people while they feasted, right? Well, now it's the current day and age. They might not openly, you know, pillage and starve their people, but they damn sure will lie to them. You know what I mean? This is what humans do. You know what I'm saying? And you know, there's a reason they lie to the people. There's a reason that our government doesn't tell us the truth, and we'll get to that right now.
Yeah. So, but I just want to point out that wasn't like somebody with a handheld camera or nothing. This is the Mexican government, you know, releasing this footage like, hey, y'all, you know what I'm saying? And to them, they already acknowledged that UFOs exist. And they're like, why are you trying to, like, you know, they're trying to get everybody on the world involved and on board with this. Like, hey, there's indisputable proof that UFOs exist.
And Rudy,
why are you trying to hide it?
The jokes and the
But that didn't prove nothing to me. Those lights didn't prove nothing to me.
Okay, but
that
whole
what's
thinking,
in this
that
shit.
whole thinking,
that could have been anything.
Right.
That
We
whole
talked
thinking-
about the drones and everything, you know?
right. But
Did you see
that's not a drone.
the
but
footage that was released at the beginning of the show? That was by the United
that was
States
the U.S.
government.
released
Jets,
that.
and they verified that those ships are moving faster.
Like, that's what I want to know.
Than
Like,
anything on Earth.
what is that? Like,
You know what I'm saying?
what the government released at the beginning.
Right, and I'm saying exactly what is it?
Right.
Because it's not proving nothing to me that it's a UFO.
Yeah, but even
What the
be
fuck else can it be,
even
though?
when you see it,
Even when it's right
even
there
when
in
you
your
see
face,
it and it's in your face, you're still gonna be like,
and
no.
the fighter pilots
what I
are
mean?
like, what the
And I
fuck
don't know
is
where, I
that?
don't know where that footage came from. I didn't know.
It came from the government.
Right.
That's what they're telling you. What the
Okay.
conspiracy?
So they're trying
all
to
right.
tell you there's aliens, and you don't believe it. I mean, like, what they're.
So where the we covered this briefly on another show.
Yeah, we did. I remember that.
Yeah, there was
because I remember seeing that particular footage.
Yeah, there was a program. It's the aerospace threat identification program, which ran from 2007 to 2012. It was funded by the government. $22 million was put into that. Now it's in the private sector. There's still people like running it. It's just privately funded by billionaires and stuff like that. But the guy,
it's still in existence.
yeah, the guy that was running the whole program, like he came forward and he's like, look, I'm on a contract. I can't say everything I've seen, but he's like, there's indisputable proof from what I've seen in the investigations we've done. UFOs exist. You know what I mean? And he just came forward and said it. He's just like, now they got together a whole panel of like top scientists.
These are not
government
regular,
officials.
These are not
like,
gas station employees. These are generals, Rudy.
Right.
For real, these are generals, and this like minister of air defense.
But also, did you hear what he just said? They put in $22 billion into this. Million. Okay, it's a money making thing. It's someone's getting paid off.
I
Of it.
don't
No, these
see
are what they're
anybody
losing.
selling shirts with
These
it
are what
on
they're
there.
losing, trying to fucking.
Anyway, there was a whole panel. They got together like the top ninjas, like credible, like these aren't crackpots, like top government officials and generals and everything that came forward, and they all shared their story from what they've seen
to Congress
on the top tier being in the government, what they've seen, what they witnessed, and basically came forward and is UFOs exist.
So my question
now here's the thing. The government who controls the media,
right?
They don't want you to know about this stuff. They don't want you to.
Why?
They don't want it in your face.
The laughing.
Okay.
Why wouldn't they want
we'll
you
tell
to
you
know
in
it?
a second. We'll tell you in 1 second. But that laughing, like how you're cracking on it, that's what they want you to do. That's why they laugh at the shit. The government laughs at the shit because they want you to think it's a joke. And I'll tell you why. Tell you exactly why. Can I just say why?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Because, okay, if the government was to tell the truth about aliens being here, everybody getting paid right now would no longer be getting paid. The pharmaceutical companies wouldn't be getting paid selling all their medicine because the aliens have the cures for it. The top thing, the fuel, the oil, all of the bushes and the fucking, all the oil people that run the bank, all of that. They would no longer be getting paid, Rudy, because they can fucking generate power and fly without oil. And everybody getting paid right now would no longer be getting paid, and it will usher in a whole new chain of command and people being the top dog. You know what I'm saying? It's maybe not called the Illuminati, but it is technically an Illuminati. The government, their network of friends and family are the people that run the fucking country. And it's the same thing in Asia and in Russia. It's like the government and all their top dogs, all their homies are the oil and the bank owners and the pharmaceutical owners. And if they were to say, yes, the aliens are here and they have a cure for all this shit, none of that power would exist no more.
Yeah, but I'm saying though, you don't have to necessarily say, hey, these aliens, they exist. You don't have to say, hey, but they got the cure for everything. You know, if the United States believed in this and us as a people to protect us, you would think, hey man, we should probably let you know that there's fucking aliens here. Without saying, look, there's no money. It has nothing to do with money. Has nothing to do with gain, power.
Instantly, though, it does. How did you get here? You guys are flying in a UFO. We want that technology. Instantly, we need it.
So is the government holding the aliens back? Like they're telling them, like, yo, don't, like.
They're saying, the government's saying to the aliens, if we're going to jump ahead like that, the government's saying to the aliens, look, our people aren't ready to know about you yet. You know what I mean? This is crazy. We can't know about you yet. And the real reason is because the minute they acknowledge, yes, there's aliens here, we're like, we need that technology.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then, therefore, if we know that technology, that shuts down everybody in power right now.
Like, do you guys know, like, how everybody says, hey, they have a light bulb, a better light bulb, a light bulb that you can put in and goes forever. Like, it never burns out. But they keep that technology from you because they want you to keep buying these light bulbs that bust, and you got to keep buying the same light bulbs.
But my concern with
what I'm saying, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay? But that light bulb, times that by 1,000,000. That's how bad it is. Like, the withholding of information, the withholding of technology from the people, so that the filthy rich, the people with the oil, the people with the fucking that run the electric, the people that you pay all your bills to, billions and trillions of dollars, like, they don't want to lose all that.
Their kids are the next to inherit that business.
So
and they don't want
keep,
their kids. Picture
they
your
keep
kids.
that from you.
You want your kids. I mean, I want my kids to be doing all right. Well, they want their kids to still be selling oil and shit in their
How
kids.
do we know the aliens aren't taking our resources? How do we know they're not taking our oil? And that's how they're floating around. And that's why they're stopping in when we're inferior.
They're in this bitch like, you motherfuckers are ridiculously stupid. Like, we came from 50 trillion light years away. What can we show them? You know what I'm saying? They can only show us.
Now the problem.
Well, why would they be here?
Because I'll tell you why. They're so fucking advanced, all right? They don't even comprehend war. They're like, anything can be resolved. Like, they don't even comprehend war, all right? They come here, they land in somebody's backyard or whatever, right? Within a second, the government's there quarantining the area. You know what I mean? The government, once they communicate, they're like, we are the rulers. These are our people, and we are the rulers. And then the aliens are like, well, look, we're here to let you know your planet is dying. You know what I'm saying? You guys are killing your planet. You know what I mean? And they're like, you know, let us deal with our people. You know, da-da-da. The rest is history. What me and Rob are going to show you guys is we have ways of flying and everything that don't involve any fuel or any of that shit.
Oh, we all know there's shit well advanced beyond what
way advanced.
Okay,
right?
hold on, Keegan. So you say we all know that. So where is it?
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
It's a
That's
general
what I'm
consensus.
getting.
Here's what I want to ask you guys,
because we
though.
all do know. When you
Right.
think about it deep down, you know there's better technologies.
Yeah, 100%.
like
Well, yeah, but it gets
Samsung waited 3
there's
years to
top-
release that new phone they got. It's marketing.
There's
You know what I'm
top
saying?
there's top scientists right now that fully are like, the government's fucked up. It's all bullshit. There's technology that exists today where you could have a generator in your home, providing everything for free, all your power, everything free of charge. You don't need anybody else. It can run by itself, and you can be totally self-sufficient. But they don't want you to have that technology.
So
you
this is what I want to ask you guys real quick to the hindsight to your debate. So you're saying that we're kind of telling aliens like, hold on, we got our people. But if their technology is so superior to ours and we're so minute to them, why are they just like, oh yeah, no, okay, do your thing, and they just stay in the
Because
background?
they're respectful. They're not barbaric. They don't come from a place like, all we know is, you know, that's all we know.
If they see us being taken advantage like that and lied to,
They're still not going to come wipe our way
still
out.
Gonna, yeah, because
right,
it
not
would
white,
still,
but at least expose it.
It would still create.
You know what I'm saying?
It would
Because-
still create an upheaval.
Yeah.
Like how does the government control aliens?
Easy, because the aliens are being, they're not, see, all we know is our human barbaric ways. We can't even fathom that they would come here
Right.
respectfully.
Yeah.
We'd think like, well, why wouldn't they just wipe them out? You know, if the aliens came here in force and said, well, we're going to go directly to the people since you're withholding technology, we're going to go directly to the people because you guys are being fucked up to your people, right?
Yeah.
If the aliens said that to the government and all of a sudden they sent 1,000 UFOs here to say, hey, we're here to let, you know, the government would go on TV in 2 seconds and say they're here to eat us, fight them with everything you've got. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And who would we believe? We'd believe our government. This is the same government that, you know, in like, I believe like my great grandfather's days, they had slaves. Like, look at our people. Look at the way people are, humans.
Oh, yeah, no, we're disgusting.
You know, like my mom, I was talking to my mom about
I
this,
mean,
right?
look
My mom said,
look at today, in
so much hate.
2019.
There's so much
I was
hate.
talking to my mom about this. My mom said, I'm like, Mom, you know, aliens, da-da-da. My mom said, well, you know, I've been reading about history. You know, I'm more into the history now. I'm like, Mom, well, maybe 200 years from now, they'll be reading about us and how a time when our government, even though the planet is on the verge of destruction, our government is still lying to the people so they can benefit themselves and their friends.
Yeah.
They're lying to their own fucking people.
Yeah.
That's the day we live in today.
Yeah.
You know, humans are fucking barbaric, man.
You know, yeah, you're talking about the destruction of the planet, like Donald Trump going on there, just not whatever, throwing anybody under the bus or whatever. But he was on the air, and basically he was saying that there is no global warming. Like,
Right.
It doesn't exist. I don't acknowledge it. It doesn't exist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Come fucking on. Like,
Right.
the proof is right fucking now, right
Dog,
here.
it was
Well,
4 inches of snow in the desert.
Right, and then
in fucking Albuquerque.
like what? Like a week and a half ago, it's like 60 degrees out. Like
Yes.
in the fucking winter. Like you hardly ever see a snow on the ground that sticks. Like I'm old school. I remember the fucking ice storms, and you were shoveling snow once a week. You know what I'm
Michigan's
saying?
Getting
not
paid.
supposed
The
to be
ice,
like this right now.
the you know, but they don't want to acknowledge it. Why? Because they want to keep pumping the fucking pollutant into the air because that's what's making all of them rich and making them money.
And they're gonna
They
do it
don't-
as much as they can
Yeah,
because
until the end.
it's their
They
kids.
don't-
They want their
they
kids
don't
to
give
be
a fuck about anything but
they want their
getting paid.
kids to inherit.
I agree with that. I agree with all of that.
Like, hey, can you guys stop pumping that pollutants in the air and lose, $100 trillion? You know, they're not gonna fucking do it.
I mean, they
They'll
laid
drive
down
it-
pipelines
When you
in
have-
tribal areas.
Right, that's what I'm
Right.
talking
Like,
about.
and
They don't
who
give
gives
a
a
fuck
fuck?
about
when you have
anything but
when you have
getting
Mexico
paid.
and France and smaller countries saying that, you know, and then you got Asia and fucking Russia and them saying, it's so stupid, get that shit out of our face. It's like, that's why so many journalists, even though the truth is right there, they're not saying shit about it. You know what I mean? Because they get laughed at for the very same reason. Some of what we're about to say, it sounds ridiculous. Yeah. Because that's the way we're all trained to, be when it comes to this shit.
Can you bring up that video about the car that runs on water? All right, I want to show you guys this video. This is actual news. This was like straight up legitimate.
One more thing before we show that. Man, scientists they figure it out on their own that we don't need fuel to fly, right? And do anything, right? Then they try to patent it. And the government's like, no, that shit's dangerous. We don't want it. And the scientists are like, what do you mean? This is my life. I discovered this. I'm here to save the world. And the government's like, get that shit out of here. You get out of here. There's scientists killing themselves because they're like, why even continue?
Yeah.
Why? When they're just going to shut the door in my face and rip my blueprints up, literally killing themselves. Yeah. Like they were so excited that they figured it out. Then the government's like, no, that's dangerous. We don't want to hear no more about it. They go home and kill themselves because...
Or they kill themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what came to mind.
Like the thing with this guy, he invented a car that runs on water, and he was killed. He was fucking in a restaurant chilling. He was eating, and he came outside fucking gasping, and his dying words were, "They poisoned me." And he fucking fell over dead. That was his dying words.
Because, man, this is real times, man. We live in fucked up days.
But, what we're on the verge where everybody, just their knowledge base and the science has advanced so far now that even common people are finding the answers out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's other people now that are springing up, inventing new technologies, new fuel to run cars. This technology existed a long fucking time ago. You know what I'm saying?
I clearly believe everything you're saying as far as this goes.
I know where you're going.
But I'm still not sold on ET being here in the United States.
I got it. Why we just want to establish the why.
Everything that you have laid in front of me, I clearly 100%. You ain't got to sell me on that because I believe that. I believe the advances that if you're taking any money from anyone, if I'm selling selling fertilizer, and I'm making millions and millions of dollars, and then someone comes along and says, well, there's fertilizer right here for free. Well, the guy who's selling the fucking fertilizer is like, man, this motherfucker got to go.
Right, he's got to die.
He got to go.
So why wouldn't you believe that the government would lie to us about aliens?
I'm
That's what we're saying, because with the introduction of aliens into our society, like, hey, they're here, and the government fully supports it. Yeah, come on in, share with us whatever you know. That's the end to all their money.
It's over.
That's the end to all their money. Everybody will be equal. Everybody will have the technology. You won't have to go to anybody to get your electricity. You don't have to go to anybody to get anything you need. It'll all be provided.
Now, you know this is a theory that you're coming up with, because who knows if that's what they're bringing? We don't know that.
Yeah. We do.
I mean, unless you've heard a actual alien sit down and say, "Hey, I got the cure to everything."
Well, the reason why we know it is because it's such an interesting time. Like Rob said, in our lifetime, it's going to be out. That's because technology is now at a point where we can communicate with each other without this, and they can't censor us. Like, that's what's happening now. That's why we're here talking about this right now. Right. It's because there's ways now, the internet and shit, we're able to talk now. And there are people that worked at Area 51 or bases like that, right? That, the word is getting out now because they can't censor everything like they used to be able to.
The only thing they can do, though, is use the media to discredit, make things a joke, like try to put a light spin on it so it's comical. Like, oh, why would you believe in aliens? They're still spinning
you're crazy if you do it.
And it's working. It's working. Most of the people are like, yeah, aliens don't exist or whatever. They're just not believing.
They can't even conceive that shit would happen. They're like, man, that's ridiculous. Because to acknowledge it, that I could see us being duped like that. it's almost embarrassing. It's like, I can't believe, that we are like the people we read about in the history books. Like, we're actually being deceived.
And let's bring this up, Rudy, again. There's governments, not ours. Other governments are like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, UFOs are here. We got,
But you've mentioned two governments.
There's
out of the.
Well, they said the UK, and there's others.
You
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot that are like, UFOs exist. Why the fuck aren't we on a world thing on this, all on board? Like, let's address this.
So wait a minute. So if excuse me, playing the devil's advocate.
Even if it was just one, even if it was the Mexican government is like, they exist.
Don't put it on my people.
No, I'm just saying that you've seen the footage.
No.
They're like, we have indisputable proof UFOs exist, even if it was one. That's like, aren't they credible?
But
isn't that government credible?
But here's what I'm saying.
It's not a crackpot sitting at home.
But my question,
You know what I mean?
my question to you is, and again, playing the devil's advocate here is, so these aliens only came to America? They didn't go to Mexico, where Mexico would be like, yo, right here, I got him right here. He's chilling right here with me. What, only in America or not in the UK? The UK,
There's
they
a
just
lot
didn't
involved
stop
with
over
doing
there.
that, though, like catching a bullet in the back.
But I'm saying though, they're coming out though saying this exists.
There's a lot involved in that though. Getting killed, like Rob. I mean, this is like, you could get killed for doing that shit. You got to be careful on how you do it.
But putting out that video, you don't get killed for that. Like throwing that video and declaring as your country, the United Kingdom, aliens fucking exist.
I know, it's deep, right?
Right, like,
heavy,
but right, exactly.
That's pretty fucking heavy.
But why
Like
wouldn't they be like,
you think
and
about,
I got proof. Here's my
you
man
think about,
right here.
Right, but you think about back in the 50s and you think about now. Like, just the fact that governments and even our own government program, the head guy that was running our own fucking program is like, there's indisputable proof that UFOs exist. Like, when are we gonna not listen? Like, when are we just gonna be blind and deaf to this? Like, now, granted, the whole thing with, the governments, this is why they're withholding the information. Like, that can be, to me, up to debate. Like,
see,
the why.
that's where I'm at. That's
why
where I'm
is
at.
the government withholding the information? Right?
See, we got a good table here because you guys are on par. Rudy, you're on the side you don't believe in aliens, right?
I don't.
I believe in aliens. I just don't believe the theory that you guys have presented. But I do believe that there's extraterrestrials, there's other life form. I just don't think they're masterminding behind the scenes.
I agree.
With world governments. If the theory you're kind of giving us is they're nice creatures, they could sit back knowing
there's all kinds.
Well,
of them.
well, you know what I'm saying.
Definitely opened my mind to that.
Yeah. No, it's. I'm not shutting that theory down. I'm just saying so far what's
There's not just us and aliens. There's like, endless amounts of different kinds of aliens.
So they're probably not even called aliens.
We're calling them that. We're calling them that.
That might be derogatory.
Rob,
to them.
let's show the
let's
the
see
guy
some
in the
footage.
basket.
Let's see some
hold
footage.
on. First of all, we'll get to that. Let's do the car first. I just want to show this. I know.
Okay.
I know we're all on board with this, but can we just show this for a second? All right. So this guy came out. This is back in the day. He came out with a car that runs on water, and then he died.
Could you there you go.
But Stan Meyer's invention may make it even more valuable. He has developed what's called a water fuel cell. It has taken the place of his old gas tank. The water fuel cell breaks down water molecules into oxygen and hydrogen. The hydrogen is used to run his dune buggy.
I don't care if you use rainwater, well water, city water, ocean water. If you don't have any fresh water, go ahead and use snow. If you don't have any snow available to you, then use salt water because there's no adverse effect to the fuel cell.
Meyer started working on this project 4 years ago. He's not a scientist. He isn't even a chemist. In fact, he never graduated from college. Myers was determined, he says, to design something to protect this country from oil embargoes.
And we have calculated that if we take the dune buggy from Los Angeles to New York, we would roughly use 22 gallons of water.
The Pentagon flew a lieutenant colonel in last week to look at Meyer's invention. There's talk of possibly using it in the Star Wars defense program and to run army tanks. Myers is currently perfecting a water fuel cell for cars. It will cost about $1,500. He says it won't need any maintenance, and you won't have to replace it. It'll be at least 2 years before the fuel system goes into mass production. The day it happens will be one the fuel industry hates, but it'll put a smile on the face of those who've had to say at one time or another, fill her up. I'm Ralph Robbins.
As you can see, many patents have already been received, and many more are forthcoming.
Car that runs on water instead of gasoline. Can it be true? Well, inventor Stanley Meyer made an announcement today in Colorado Springs. He says he's come up with a device that will hook up to any engine and allow it to run on good old H2O. News 13's Kurt Goff tonight on the possible impact of the water fuel cell.
Stanley Meyer says the answer to dependence on foreign oil lies all around us. In seawater, tap water, and rainwater. Any kind of H2O, he says, can power just about every type of engine. How? With the water fuel cell. It fits in the palm of his hand, but it could revolutionize the world. You're talking about a pollution-free,
Show that other video
totally
real quick.
new source of energy. The voltage
Okay, anyway, if you watch the rest of that footage, it goes on that somebody offered him $1 billion for his patent, and then he was basically just killed, and that was it. You know what I'm
Did he give it up? Did he sell it?
And discredited.
Did he sell it or no?
No,
he didn't.
He was holding on.
Gotcha.
Where is it? Is the question?
Yeah.
Okay, well, he was discredited. It was basically it was a lie. He didn't fucking really have a water powered vehicle, and then he was fucking killed, and that was it.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? This other video here. This is in India. There's quite a few of these videos right now that are springing up. Like other people in other areas have developed. Are starting to develop the technology that already existed a long time ago.
Sure.
In theory, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
anyway, if we can watch this real quick.
A story of an energy innovator from Madhya Pradesh whose contribution he feels has the potential to be the green fuel that the world is looking for.
Chick's hot.
A recent WHO report says that out of the 20 most air-polluted cities across the world, 13 are in India. The main cause of this pollution is from automobiles. While scientists and engineers are working towards vehicles with green fuel, this car mechanic from Sagar claims to have come up with a solution. He has altered a petrol engine car to run on acetylene gas, which he generates by mixing water and calcium carbide in this tank placed in the back of his car.
So yeah, we agree about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Look. The other thing is, since the mid 1900s, they figured out how to create power with the use of magnets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, magnets, how do they work?
Yeah, I was waiting for that. I was waiting for it.
You might wonder why the Dark Carnival delivered that line. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Magnets?
That's
are actually one of the most powerful things on the planet as far as technology.
And how do magnets work? Right. How do they really work? You know what I'm saying? There's a guy that was flying around in a basket built on magnets, and we'll show you the footage. Now, I'm sure you won't believe it, you think it's fake footage or whatever, but like Rob said, with the water thing.
Yeah, okay, so can we show the anti-gravity wheel first? I want to, if you guys can bring the anti-gravity wheel up.
You showed that on the last one. I remember that one. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
the deal where there's no nothing's powering it.
No. Well, yeah. Like basically utilizing magnets and utilizing motion.
Right.
Like there's the scientific belief that we could have like hovercraft chilling. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, that's how the UFOs are. They're built because when the government gets a UFO, they hire, they have people to do what's called reverse engineering, which is how they learn how it works, and then and that's what it is, magnets.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're bending gravity and with the use of magnets. It's just magnets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Movement is energy.
Right.
Right? Not that I know what the fuck I'm talking about, but what I learned. Movement is energy, you know what I'm saying? And you know when you take magnets and flip them, and they're either going to pull together or they're going to go apart, right?
Right.
Well, what they do is basically, you know, they bolt down these super powerful magnets so that they go apart.
Okay.
And that creates something to spin at a super high speed,
Like
you know
crazy.
what I'm
I
saying?
know
Magnetic
there's a dope
force.
word for that
Do you-
energy besides that, like when they oppose.
Right.
Do you remember on one of the shows we talked about the Large Hadron Collider?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
that whole thing
yes.
is run off of 10,000
Yes,
magnets.
that's what I was
and that's
talking
what
about.
that's what propels those particles at the crazy speed. They go in a loop, right? It's a round loop, and they propel them at supersonic speeds and then have them collide. You know, for the purpose of like trying to learn more about the subatomic level
Right.
of creation, right? So, like that's all to get to those speeds is all magnets. It's all
Right.
being propelled, pulled forward by magnets.
And it's
a
energy,
spinning motion,
and that's
and it's
basically
energy.
how you can fly
Right.
with no use.
Without-
All right,
without
let's watch
fuel.
this.
Without
Let's watch
fuel.
this right here. This is just motion.
Just how heavy it is.
This is just showing you, first of all, before we get into the magnet stuff, but it's showing you
As I talk, you'll see that
how motion can lead to like weightlessness,
about
like
40 pounds,
anti-gravity.
and I can't lift it any higher than that without a lot of strain. So now we'll spin it up to 2,500 revs a minute, at which point it becomes a live thing. Then I shall lift it 5 feet in 3 seconds by going round in a big circle. Whilst I'm doing it, I shall talk to you so that you shall tell from my voice that I'm not under any stress of any kind.
Basically, this is the technology of a flying saucer. It's hard to understand, but
Now, in a minute, I shall let go with my left hand, and holding this remote end of the shaft only, I shall lift the wheel through 5 feet, all on its own, with no effort on my part. All I do is apparently just to steer it along a path that it's already decided it would like to go. Then there's the question of how you stop the wheel.
Okay, so we're about to show you next is gonna be hard to believe, but basically, Joe, if you want to talk about the flying,
you know,
bugs.
it's just
Flying bus, you said?
No, well, it's
Oh.
like
I seen the Magic School Bus once.
basically there's documentaries out there, there's scientists out there that believe in the ability to create, in effect, a floating or hovering craft.
Okay.
Using the momentum technology and magnets. And not only
Yeah,
that,
I believe
they
all
go
of
so
this.
far to say they've already been invented. Like they
Yeah.
already exist. These things exist.
Yeah.
Go ahead and show the guy in the basket. Watch this.
And he glued them to like a Venetia blind structure, and he put it into a little platform he built. So they were all, these bug wings were all covered in here. And he used I theorize he used the wing covers as well as the inner wing itself. There's also a kind of a handlebar on this thing with some controls. You can see the thing a little better here in detail. The controls, I think, had to be manipulated continuously and probably vibrated to create the same action that the bug was doing. There was also down at the base some kind of a lever, which I suspect controlled the amount of lift he was getting out of this thing. Anyway, Grebennikov claimed that he could fly this thing or levitate it, and it would go around at almost 1,000 miles an hour. Now you ask, how can that happen? You know, well, he said that there was an energy field that built up around this thing due to this gravity field building up in the platform, and by this thing building up, it built out a force field that basically surrounded him and protected him from the local environment. So even though he was flying at 1,000 miles an hour, you could go, you could be wearing your Sunday best suit and not get it flutter a bit at 1,000 miles an hour. But if you get into the other things he did with shape, they almost mirror the stuff that I discovered. And it proves, I guess, that there's either two crazy people in the world,
All right, that's good.
or there's two people that have found the same discovery.
Wait, I want to hear about the crazy people. Now you cut it off.
Well, no, that's like basically the end of it.
So basically that's UFO technology, you know what I'm saying, right there in our face. But of course, everybody's gonna be like, it's bullshit, you know what I mean?
No, I believe that. I really do. I
But
believe that there's a lot of technology that hasn't been released to us. Like cell phones were. I believe cell phones were. There's a boxing. Okay, Mike Tyson, the day he fought James Buster Douglas.
Yeah, somebody
remember?
had a cell phone.
Somebody had a fucking iPhone.
Yeah.
In the fucking crowd. And all of a sudden people are like, what the fuck is that guy doing? Because it was already there. I do believe all of this stuff is already there.
Yeah.
But again, it doesn't prove to me personally that there's extraterrestrial life that brought it. Perhaps we got some dope ass scientists that put that shit together.
All right, check it out. Now we're gonna get into this. All right, there are people that worked at Area 51, right? And they've come, in the late 80s. Okay, that's when there was mad amounts of UFOs, and the reason why is because the Cold War. Like us, and we were about to, remember the nuclear threat?
Oh, yeah.
We were about to ruin the planet.
Right.
So there was UFOs left and right popping up because they didn't want us to ruin the planet, you know what I'm saying? For whatever reason, And there was a lot of people that were hired because there was, they were landing here. You know what I mean? Talking, like landing at the Air Force bases, talking to the fucking government, UFOs were. And so they were working with us, And so there was a lot of people hired, these brilliant scientists and shit hired to do the reverse engineering, And they've since come out to talk about it, but the government discredits them by erasing their whole background. You know what I'm saying? Like saying where he went to college, no record of it. Where he used to work before he was hired by what they call, is it the Black Ops government, Ron?
Yeah.
Before they were hired by the Black Ops government, where he worked at, no record of them working there. Yet they go to the other people that graduate or that worked there during that time, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I know Bob," you know what I mean? Or other people that graduated from college that year. Yeah, I remember Bob. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like they can't erase everything.
Witnesses.
You know what I mean? But there are people that. Some of these guys are coming out speaking now, and what they do, Rudy, is shoot interviews.
Mm-hmm.
They sit down in a hotel and they tell their whole story, and people pay them for the story, you know what I mean? There are people that know each other from working at Area 51 and don't know each other any other way. They both work there at the same time,
Right.
And the way they do it is everything is compartmentalized, which means you're hired to work just on what you do, and you don't need to know anything else. Like even when you get there and you get into the elevator, it don't even have the floors on the elevators. You don't need to know what floor you work on. You don't need to know shit except for what you do.
Right.
So there are all these people now talking, and the reason we know it is because of the internet now. We can see this shit. And they all only know the part they know. But we're able to put things together by, this guy worked on
This
the UFOs.
story, yeah, I got you.
This guy actually worked with the aliens. This guy, and you're able to put it all together, and they all have similarities to their story. It's like incredible. Like, for example, they all say, yeah, you're weighed when you get there. You're weighed because they don't want you stealing shit or bringing shit in. So everywhere you go throughout your day, you're weighed. You know, you're on a scale.
Yeah.
You know, because if you
No matter where
have an
you're
ink
at.
pen in your pocket, they'll know it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the little stories like that are all the same. But yet what each guy worked on is different shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How do we present this, Rob?
What's that?
How do we show them what we're talking about?
Yeah, like I was trying to look up. You know, at least I wanted to look up the that big meeting that everybody had. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm interested
Here's
in
what
seeing
happened.
that.
Yeah, right.
Here's what it was.
Was this documented and
Oh
filmed?
yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
all
This
filmed.
was
Yeah,
to
it's out there
Congress.
right
This
now.
was presented to Congress.
It's all out there right now.
You're talking about generals. You're talking about fucking U.S. You know, just high-ranking people that were like, yeah, you know, I worked in the, I was the Minister of Air Defense for the United States from 87 to 91 or whatever the fuck that is, right? And they're like, we were testing nuclear missiles, not the actual nuclear, but the missile itself. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Not the
Yeah, you're not trying to fuck no shit up.
right, but
Yeah.
the missile.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know, and it's a general talking. And he's like, we launched it, and when it started to arc, all of a sudden, a fucking UFO came and shot a laser of light into one side of it, zipped around to the other side of it, shot another laser, and then the warhead exploded. Remember, there's no nuclear in it, it's just a missile, right?
Right.
And within an hour, these government officials came that are like, what you saw nothing.
Yeah.
Those are your orders. And so these guys remained silent until 6 years ago when they retired or whatever. And they're telling the story now.
So
and it's not just one guy, there's a whole panel of people.
Right. But going back to what you said, like, these people are being paid for these stories?
No.
Okay.
No.
They were in hiding, right?
No, they're not in hiding either. They're just retired. They don't have to be.
So
quiet.
they're not afraid to be murdered, like, you know.
Most of them did get murdered.
There's too many people talking now.
Now there's too many.
There's
Yeah,
like too many that are coming forward.
But there's a lot of them did get killed. You know what I mean? But like, the technology is working for them and against them because now there's the internet and like, if now some of these guys are like famous. If they got killed, it would raise too many flags.
Right.
Like there's a guy named Bob Lazar. They put this motherfucker under hypnosis. They gave him 3 different lie detector tests, 3 different style lie detector tests. And everything he says is the truth. Like, you can't be that good of a liar. And his knowledge, like these guys are super educated at what they do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they all know just a part of it. And you can watch it all and put it together, you know? And there's documentaries that put it together for you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The only thing I can think of to prove what we're saying is they found an alien. They found an alien in the desert. Its body was preserved under the sand. They found it, and I believe it's in France now.
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway, they sent a team, Bob Lazar, who worked at Area 51, went over there and took DNA out of the alien. We'll show it to you.
Right.
Can we see that alien? Right, looks like an action figure, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you watch the documentary, they x-ray this motherfucker, they take DNA out of its eye socket and its ear, and they give it to these world-renowned scientists. And they're like, I have never seen anything like this. The DNA it's like 30% human and 70% some shit they've never seen before, you know? And humans have, I don't remember how many ribs, 13 or something. This thing has like 10 ribs. And they show you all the different, they show you the x-rays. It's got veins. It's real. It's not, nobody disputes it's real. Okay, it's real. This thing is 7 years old, 6 or 7 years old.
That thing doesn't look phony to you, man. Come on.
Rudy, what I'm
But
saying.
no, I'm saying, like.
Of course it does.
Right.
But Rudy, nobody is disputing it's real. Like, nobody is disputing it's real. They all are saying it's real. But now, since these documentaries are popping up everywhere, the U.S. government officially said, oh, what that is a hybrid fucking, it's only 6 inches tall. Okay. And they're like, oh, that was a hybrid thing, and it had rapid bone growth disorder. You know, it's just bullshit.
So they're saying that was actually human?
Yeah. They're saying it was like a deformed
So
human.
that was like the size of this cup then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, the government came and officially said what it is, right? But it's bullshit.
Because it was making such a
it was
stir.
creating noise. They found it now.
It's creating too much noise.
And it's not in our hands. It's in France. And so, all these world-renowned scientists are like, what the fuck is it? The government had to say something to debunk it. And so, we watched this documentary.
So what is the French government saying? Like, you're fucking
Then it's
crazy?
a fucking alien. You know what I'm saying? It is an alien. And the way the aliens look with the big head and the skinny arms.
The Hollywood aliens.
Yeah.
That's the way they look.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it came from. They say the UFOs crashed in Roswell.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's where the shit came from. It's so easy to paint it as a joke.
Right.
And turn it into a joke that it's almost like they laugh at us.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to do.
This is wild. It actually makes full sense that you said it had like 10 ribs and shit, because you always see them in the movies squatting with their legs, and our backs are all fucked up as humans, so I feel like that physically makes sense too.
I mean, what we just saw is a for real fucking alien.
Now, is that the only case of anything like that shape, that style being reported, or is there other ones
that
we know of?
That they're coming publicly out
Sure.
saying this is an alien.
Okay.
Okay.
So what are they doing? Putting these aliens in cages and
they're working.
I mean, my theory is my question is not theory. My question is if these aliens are so superior to the governments, why ain't they just like, you know what, fuck you, I'm just gonna go out here and walk down the street?
Well, that's what I just said. Like if the aliens were like, look, we're gonna go right to your people because you're bullshitting your people and we don't like it, the government would say they're here to eat us.
Right.
You know what I mean? Kill them. Take arms.
Yeah,
take arms.
but what would they care? They're not human. They don't have the emotion.
Because they're not masters of warfare. They're not they don't even war. They're so civilized that they're like, when they come across another race of aliens out in space or whatever, they don't battle. They're like, the other race is also so civilized that whatever dispute they might have, they just figure it out. They don't war. You know what I'm saying? Their UFOs aren't strapped with lasers like in Star Wars. They're so advanced, they're not even into some war. They're like, what the fuck? Like they're here like, your planet, you're killing your planet. You know what I mean? You guys are killing your planet.
All right, can I show this video real quick?
But why do they care if we're killing our planet? Why do they care?
Well, there's a lot of reasons. It's a lot. That's a lot of mystery. What's really cool? All these people that
Let me tell you something. Let me stop you right now. You're selling me on this, by the way.
And this is what's cool.
By the way, and then you asked for honesty.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I'm trying to take. It's hard to do because I'm trying to take, I don't know how many hours of footage that I've watched and cram it into this, and it's very hard to do. But the one thing I like about all the guys that are doing these shoot interviews and all the guys that are coming out and speaking is they won't talk about religion. And the reason is they don't want to take and alter anybody's faith at all. Like they won't talk about what the aliens said about God. You see what I'm saying? And whether or not there's a God or anything like that. Everybody unanimously doesn't want nobody's faith to change. And not that saying there is no God or there is.
Right.
Whatever it is, they want that left alone and they won't discuss that. You know what I'm saying? And I respect that.
That's interesting.
Because, you know what I'm saying? But on the insides of the walls of the pyramids and shit, they got aliens. They got UFOs written in stone.
Yeah, you know how they had those they had the giant carvings in the sand that you could only see from
space
like
and
crazy
shit.
high up.
They're like 50 miles long. These pieces of art.
The pyramids themselves are a fucking wonder.
And they got the UFOs carved in stone.
Let me play this video real quick. This is from the Canadian Minister of Defense back in 2013. This is like one of their highest official government ninjas. and let's hear what he has to say about UFOs in general.
National Defense, I had sighting reports of UFOs. I was too busy to be concerned about them at the time because I was trying to unify the Army, Navy, and Air Force into a single Canadian Defense Force. And that itself was a kind of battle to the finish. So this was not high on my agenda. But about 10 years ago, I started getting interested due to a young man from Ottawa sending me material on the subject. I told him I was too busy to read it, but he had confidence that someday I would. It took me a while to get around to reading it, but I took it for my summer reading in 2005 and was really impressed with what was contained in it. And what I thought to myself is there are huge issues here, huge issues. And the American people and the people of the world have a right to know what's going on because they're part of it. It's not just an isolated thing. I accept the invitation of Victor Vigiani, who's over here somewhere, and his cohort, Mike Bird, to speak to a symposium at the University of Toronto. And I said, UFOs are as real as the airplanes flying overhead. That gave me the dubious distinction of being the first person of cabinet rank in the G8 group of countries to say so unequivocally. In the 1960s sometime, it was a flotilla of UFOs headed south that crossed into NATO territory in Europe. And the commander-in-chief of the Supreme Allied headquarters in Europe was naturally very shaken. Fortunately, or maybe divine providence, before the panic button was pushed, the flotilla turned around and headed back north. Obviously, they had thought maybe they were Russian, and they were very concerned about it. Anyway, an investigation was launched into this whole subject, and a document was prepared which concluded that at least 4 species had been visiting Earth for thousands of years. And this is my own view at this stage as well. So, except for that, there are just a couple of things that we've talked about that I'd like to refer to. And one was that we're referring to them as they.
Okay, like straight up, Rudy, this guy is a super high level official, Minister of Defense of Canada. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, straight up, they exist. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's coming forward in official capacity, like they exist. But no matter how many times people come forward, and there's a lot now. There's a lot. Like, it's like revving up. You know what I'm saying? High-level official people that are no longer afraid because people, their careers would be destroyed when they came forward and say, hey, aliens exist. Their careers were done. But now people are like standing up because it's so obvious, it's so in your face. There's so many sightings, there's so many things that are going on right now that they're like, look, the government is lying to you. UFOs exist. And there's whole governments that are like, UFOs exist. Can we all get on board on this? And let's work together on this with this acknowledgement, this information. How do we proceed forward knowing that they exist? And as he said, without question, they exist. You know what I mean? That's like his standpoint, as well as others. They're like, without question.
It's not just anybody.
But
it's not like I think they exist. They're like, no, they exist, like 100%.
But again, my question is, if they exist here and they exist around the world, then why isn't the world that is so concerned about this saying, you know what, fuck that, we're bringing them out, here they are. Here they are. That to me, that's where for me, I'm like, come on, man. Come on. How come we're only seeing like dead ones that are as big as that cup?
Right. We
you know what I
like,
mean?
Again, like there's theories. Like Joe has a lot more information about that than I do. But what the one main theory is that they did come forward if the government, the people in power, allowed us to know about aliens and
but I'm saying those governments that are acknowledging, hey,
right.
they're here.
Right.
You know?
No, yeah, I hear
Couldn't
you.
that cause like a world war? Maybe they feel like respectfully they need to not say that.
Well, if you're saying to me, I promise you, this is real. This is real. Well, then, okay, it's simple. Show me.
Yeah.
It's just show me.
Yeah.
It might be bigger than that, though. It might be like the aliens are trying to, they're very much in tune with what we're doing, the whole planet.
Yeah.
And maybe if
if
France is willing to, if the aliens are willing to come out in France, maybe their partners are saying not to do it, the ones that are in America, because America don't want them to or whatever. You see what I'm saying? Like they're trying to be respectful at the same time, but
when we talk about like the secret government, like the real rulers of the United States and possibly even the world, they're the ones that control all the power, the ones that have all the the fuel and everything that we need to continue the entirety of the machine.
Right.
They're the ones that are like, no. You know what I'm saying? But that again is speculation. Like my and I believe that's very likely to be the truth. My main thing is that from everything we've seen even tonight, just talking about it briefly, I mean, can you honestly say aliens don't exist? You know what I mean? When it's right in your face.
Wait, why don't we look at the UFO footage, Rob, that was in that thing? We haven't even looked at any UFO footage.
Yeah, all right. So, okay, well, I got some here, but like there's the sightings in Belgium in 1990. So there was.
What about the documentary that I sent you earlier today? Like, can
we can scroll through that.
Let's go look at that real quick.
Okay. So anyway, and before we get into that, in Belgium there was like 2 years of UFO sightings, that went on from 1988 to 90, and from 1989 to 1988 to 1990, and basically like 15,000 people at a time were seeing UFOs, like literally mass sightings, like 15,000 people all reporting.
So you said in 1990, right?
Yeah.
So by your own admission that we've had all of these other technologies that hadn't come out yet.
Right.
So couldn't that just have been a drone that no one had ever seen before?
Right.
Drones don't go that high, though.
You can look at.
They could. The technology. That's the point.
We don't know how high.
Yeah.
You can look at best UFO. You could go to Google, YouTube right now and put it 2018's best UFO sightings. You're gonna see shit that's not drones. People got iPhones now. You're gonna see that's what I want to see. Like,
all right, yeah, let's just show footage of it.
Let's just show some of these UFOs, man. Is what I'm trying to say. Like, we haven't even done that, and there's incredible footage out now everywhere. It's not just at night.
Yeah, how about let's see something modern, not from back in the fucking 80s and shit.
Well, that video I showed you in the beginning of the program, that was modern, and the video you seen from Mexico, that was also modern. You know what I'm saying? And there's a fleet of like orbs just flying across the sky.
Check this out. Let me just say this before we show this. You know how they show on the news when they're going over the weather, they show they got a camera on the top of a building, and they show like the sun going down. They say weather tomorrow.
Yeah.
Da, da, da. Okay, well then a local news channel was doing that, right? And you see this look like a white baseball go right by the camera, and they were like, "Hold on, back that up. What was that?" And they backed up, and you see it go right by their news camera, right? That style UFO, I've seen that style UFO countless times in other footages.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, whatever style UFO that fucking was, it's been captured countless times.
But what about this? What if it is something that we don't know? But what if that's some technology that the government created? We don't know what's in that thing.
Could be.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We don't know what's in it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's something that's beyond our recognition.
Yeah.
But a UFO, it's just an unidentified flying object.
The reason why I believe so strongly,
exactly.
The reason I believe so strongly about the aliens being here, working with the government, is due to all those hours and hours of testimony from the multiple people that each were compartmentalized into what they do.
Right.
These are highly trained people.
That's
and they're talking to you in a language.
Kegan, that's not what they're saying though. Like the all these high officials, all these government ninjas that are coming forward, they're saying UFOs exist. There's things flying in patterns that isn't possible.
Yeah, but I'm just saying
You know
that
what I'm
example
saying?
he gave
Yeah,
might
oh,
not
yeah,
have been
No,
one.
I know.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
Like
That's
a
all,
lot of
that's
the
all.
UFOs that
Yeah.
are being cited today,
Yeah.
they could be like spacecraft
The
that
coolest-
we're inventing,
the
like
coolest
crazy-ass
one- the
military
coolest
right?
footage
Yeah,
are-
with
the
the
coolest
magnets
footage are the
and
ones
whatever.
that go like straight up, and they're sitting there chilling, and everybody's like, you can see it from multiple angles. All the cameras, like, because they'll be looking at something, everybody be out and seeing it.
Yeah.
And then it'll be like sitting there, and all of a sudden it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and it's captured by multiple cameras that day. You know? There's the lights over Phoenix. This was a huge thing. They were out there for like an hour, and all of Phoenix was filming it. Right, the next day, it was like the mayor or the governor of Arizona or whatever. He came out and he was like, everybody, they did a press conference, and they brought out a guy dressed in an alien costume. They were like, here's. Everybody asking about the lights last night.
Yeah.
Well, here it is.
Like trolling
our
everyone.
Right? Yeah. And everybody, the city got enraged. They were like, how dare you make a fucking joke of that shit that we all saw that, So that same guy was on the panel that presented it to the Congress.
Oh, wow.
He was like, the same government, he was like, I in no way meant to make a joke. The people were in near hysteria, and that was our attempt to get people to relax. Because the whole city saw the shit. You know what I mean? And they were like, in his own words, near hysteria. Because it was such a blatant showing of UFOs that night, And like, that's what we should have prepared, Rob, was the people that presented the shit to Congress. Because
I was trying to look for
that was like the best.
Yeah.
It was testimony after
Like
testimony.
you could just watch that.
Is that fucking Dan Aykroyd?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
yeah.
the fuck?
Yeah, he's big into the UFO.
Do you know what? Do you know what the Foo Fighters are? Not the band, but what a Foo Fighter is.
No.
In the late '80s, when these ships were flying around, these jets were flying around, there was these little orbs that would constantly be surrounding the jets, with the nuclear missiles on them and shit. And the Air Force named them Foo Fighters because they didn't know what the fuck they were. They called them Foo Fighters. You know what I mean? That's what a Foo Fighter is. But check out some of these aliens.
And a kick-ass band.
Yeah. Go full screen on that so we can see that.
Putting money into the study of alternative technologies, funding research by people like Hutchinson, the money is just not there. I mean, if you look at NASA is getting chopped back because the funds that are flowing through government now are focused on the war in Iraq and other things. So we don't even have the money to keep up conventional space exploration, development of metallurgy,
Why don't we look at best UFO sightings
so
of,
I don't
of
see
2018?
government.
Yes, let's get Joliet Jake off. I can't take that guy serious, man. Come on,
man.
That was Elwood Blues.
He's a Ghostbuster.
I feel like we're ill prepared, Rob.
I feel like as passionate as you are about this, you've had a personal experience that you have not shared.
I feel that. Yeah.
And I feel like that might convince you.
No,
you talking about real life sighting or whatever.
Yeah.
I think we've all had, right? A real life sighting.
I don't have a definitive.
My whole family had one. Yeah.
Don't get me, like I'm on your guys. I've always believed there's been aliens and stuff. I'm not sold yet on your guys' theory, for example, like of how they work with the governments. But I do believe
that's where we dropped the.
That's you know what though. That's the main thing. Like the main thing that. Like I fully believe in, and I feel like it's without question because all you got to do is open your eyes and hear what everybody's saying.
Yeah.
Not just people sitting at home. We're talking about the most high-ranking official government ninjas, whole governments.
They presented
like
all
UFOs
to Congress,
exist.
one after another.
One
after another.
You
These
can't just
people went
sit
up
there and be like, "No, they're all lying."
Yeah.
Like, so they're all lying.
These people were. These are biochemists. These are like, and they're saying to Congress, I worked in Area 51 from da 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 da. They're all presenting themselves to Congress.
Yeah.
These super high educated people.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're like, it was my job to work with the aliens. You know, these aliens spoke telepathically. It was all telepathically. And they're like, well, what was it like when you communicated with the aliens? And they're like, there wasn't actually talking. It was like a series of imagery. The alien would like talk to you by showing you, like, just to hear them break it down and explain it to you. And the rule, like they said, because it was a guy's job to pull blood from the alien, you know, and they would do it every day because they had to make sure its health was good, you know. And,
so the aliens were just straight with them getting their shit taken.
Yeah, they're
from them
working
like
together. They also, aliens are doing their own research. Like they have their own floor at Area 51. One of the floors is all aliens. They respectfully, the Americans don't even go on that floor. It's like all their own. Man, you guys, like it's so these guys, and when they give their testimony, it's like Joey said, they've got to be the greatest liars on the planet Earth because they're passing every lie detector test put by them, and the way they're talking is mind blowing.
Right. Yeah,
and they're saying the same thing this other guy's saying, and they don't even know each other.
Right.
And when they're asked questions like how are they identified, how is you know, like there's a J-Rod. J-Rod is one of the aliens we had for years until it got so sick they sent it back. They let it go home. You know?
Yeah.
They all know who J-Rod is.
Right.
All these people that don't even know each other all worked around J-Rod, the well-known alien that was here for a number of years until it got so sick they let it go home.
Yeah.
So when people would come out of the rooms talking to the aliens, then they
were instructed.
They would go through a debriefing process where they would
The
want
government
to know
wanted
everything
that was
everything that
shared.
was said at all times. They got a record of all of it, like because they couldn't hear because it's all telepathic communication.
So they wanted to
direct
know
the-
everything that they.
I was gonna, honest, not being funny, but I didn't know if they knew like English, like in their reports.
That's
or,
what I'm saying. It was all like they presented the way you got to hear the way the guys describe how the alien communicated with them. It's fascinating. It's like you know, this is not a science fiction writer. This is a biochemist, and he's telling you.
Yeah.
He's not a guy that writes science fiction novels.
We need our own fucking documentary. Like we for enough time to cover this shit because you guys are just briefly touching on things that are so important.
You can go on. You can go on. You know.
Yeah.
On Netflix and look at them.
Yeah.
There's one called Sirius. It's mind blowing. It's not spelt serious like you normally spell it. Okay, let me tell you this. Okay, good. I remember this. There's a ranch at Area 51. It's called the Skinwalker Ranch. All right, Native American reservation.
Yeah.
And where this ranch is, there's constantly UFOs flying. Right. Nobody believes them because it's like, oh, the Native Americans, they don't know what they're saying. You know, they discredit them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, like on some.
So let me ask this: Why is these aliens prone to the Southwest and not in Detroit or
because that's
fucking New York?
Because that's where Area 51 is, and they're like working.
But I'm saying though, like they just don't all of a sudden just pop up in Buffalo. You know?
They're everywhere. Yeah, there's UFOs everywhere. Did you find?
And how come we're not crashing into them?
UFO sightings of 2018.
Yeah, we've been.
And how come we're not crashing while we're on planes with them?
There's endless amounts of footage from pilots.
No, I'm saying like actually hitting them and stuff. In accidents.
Because the UFOs
their
probably
crafts are
easily
insane.
dodge away or whatever.
Yeah, their crafts are insanely good. Look at some of these footages. Go full screen. Excuse me. I was just about to tell something too.
So you're talking about the discrediting of the Native Americans.
Oh yeah, Skinwalker Ranch, right? It's located on an area where these people born and raised in this reservation, they've seen UFOs their whole fucking life. It's like nothing to them, but they have no credibility according to the people. You know, they're just like whatever. And they're telling these stories. There's one documentary called Skinwalker Ranch, and it's just their testimonies. And the one guy's like, man, the fucking UFO came so low it buzzed the tops off the trees. And the guy's like, can you show us? And they're like, sure. They take you out there, and you just see all the trees cut off at the top.
Yeah.
From where the fucking UFO came skimming by. Now, some of those are Americans flying the ships recovered. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're Americans flying the UFOs. There's a space we can go to right now where there's a black mailbox, and it's across from a place called the Ailey Inn, is what they named it. And we could go park there. I'm telling you the truth. We could set out our lawn chairs Wednesday nights, and we could see UFOs flying. Because that's when they test fly a lot of this shit.
Oh,
at
okay.
Area 51.
Okay.
And you're like, that can't be true. Then the people go there and they capture footage. They're like, this is, right on their camera. There was even a camera crew from Japan that came from Japan to see this phenomenon. And they were like 10 cars deep. And they were riding around Area 51, the outskirts,
Yeah.
Until all of a sudden this fucking war helicopter came and was flying all like swooping in on them, scared the shit out of them. You know what I mean?
Right.
And just hearing all their testimonies are like insane, man. And I'll admit, man, we're ill prepared because I didn't get a bunch of footage together that I didn't make a compilation of what I want to present.
Right.
But if you do your own research and just watch the shit,
that's what we're saying. Look into it yourself.
Yeah, man.
Well, that's one of the things that I was going to come to right now was that you've convinced me one thing to do is to do some research.
Have an open mind, right?
You have convinced me of that.
Yeah.
You've convinced me of technology and how it has evolved and how I'm sure the things that we're seeing, did they come from space? I don't really know until I do my own research.
Let me tell you one more thing.
But I will tell you this, though. You have given me an open mind to at least research. Which before I sat down in this chair, I was like, you know what, man, fuck this. There's starving people in America. I'm worried about that. I ain't worried about this shit.
Check this out. There's this guy named Bob Lazar. He's like the longest running crusader.
Right, you were saying,
to speak this shit, And this guy's doing a documentary on this year, or last year, 2018. And Bob Lazar has there's always been a rumor that he has this shit called, I think it's Element 15. Is that what it is, Rob?
What's that?
Element 15. Is that what it's called?
I forget.
Anyway, he allegedly stole this Element 15 when he worked at Area 51. There's always been a rumor that he has Element 15, right? And that's the fuel. And I guess if you look into it with a microscope or whatever, this shit is like nothing on Earth. It's nothing like it on Earth.
Right.
So it's the proof that there's, everything he needs. He was able to smuggle it out of Area 51, all right? Anyway, the guy doing the documentary, he's like, they go out into the woods, the camera man, and Bob Lazar, and they leave their phones at the fucking car. They go out in the woods, and he's like, do you have Element 15, right? Then you see Bob Lazar answering the question, but it's all fast forward, right? Like because they didn't want to air whatever he said.
Yeah.
The next day, Bob Lazar got raided. Whoa. His house, and he lives in Michigan.
Oh, wow.
He got raided. The next day, they are watching what this motherfucker says through satellites and shit.
They're watching somebody else, what he's saying, too, with the clown makeup on.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, just remember, that wasn't me. Hey, hello.
But, I mean, they are out in the woods.
Yeah.
And whatever his answer was must have been enough to get them to launch a raid. The next day, they raided his house. They raided the laboratory he works at. Everything, and they got it on camera.
Yeah. Wow.
It's like they raided the motherfucker. They were in the woods.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, they're still watching what this motherfucker says all these years after the fact. Because if he does have that Element 15, they want that shit.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's just like, well, holy shit. They got this other guy. He's dead now, but this is back in 95. He's talking, and he says, the main thing about Area 51 is it's all underground. miles underground, right?
Right.
And he
I've
says
heard of that.
there's 130 bases like Area 51, U.S. owned around the world, right? 130 different bases where they have these underground bases, right? And he tells a story, and here's where I'm going to lose you, but fucking, I'm going to tell you the story.
He already knows.
He's explaining, and to hear him talk is so fucking fascinating, okay? To build one of these bases, they drill 4 huge holes, miles underground. 4 huge holes. I'm just getting. Is it closing time?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Then let me enter and send it way off. There's 4. They dig 4 holes, miles underground. Right. They're digging the 4th hole, and they reach some pocket. They're like, "Whoa, we broke into something. Is it a cave or something? We don't know." But they're in some big opening space. So they send a couple scientists down there in Green Berets and Black Berets, whatever that is. They go down, I know the Green Berets, but they go down there, right? They're riding this elevator down there, and he's like, it's the worst stench you can imagine. You know, they just smell this awful, horrendous stench. They go down there, they set their lights up, and there's alien. They're building an underground base in some other country.
Right.
I don't remember what country it is. But they break into this opening, so they go down there, set their lights up, and there's a race of aliens underground, already down there, right? And they break out into a gun battle. They break the gun. They're not friendly. Whatever race of aliens they discovered drilling underground, okay? They get into a shootout. You know what I'm saying? And the guy talking is like, the thing rubbed its stomach like this and shot me with a blast of energy. It flew me back, and he's like, it burned my toes off. It burned the fingers off on my right hand. He lifts his hand up. His hand is gone, no hand. And he's like, the energy surged through my body, and it like my outlets, it burned them, And he's like, they're trying to kill me right now. And he pulls his shirt back. He's got a bullet hole. He's got a pat. He's like, I got shot 2 weeks ago. They're trying to kill me. He's dead, by the way. But he's telling this story. This is in 95. He was just coming out saying all this. And there was he said something like 40 U.S. lives were lost in this gunfight with these pocket of evil aliens in the middle of the earth. And it's all just hush. Whatever they were doing under there, they don't know. But why would what are they doing digging miles underground either?
Right. Okay, you had me earlier, country. Joe. But okay, that guy clearly had diabetes and he lost some limbs.
Here's the thing. Everything between that and here is answered on those if you do your research.
I promise you.
It's that crazy.
Do you remember the documentary that shows the officials talking to the Pentagon? Just in the Pentagon. Do you remember what that was called?
No, but there's only one time it ever happened. So
right. Yeah. Well, it's weird because I was looking for
now you can't find it.
It's just gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like to me, that's
I believe it's that serious documentary.
Mandela effect.
Well, yeah.
Mandela
No,
effect.
it's not a Mandela effect, but that should be one of the biggest things, news items ever.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not because people are just they don't want to believe or they choose not to believe.
Well, it's always easier to not believe.
Even when there's so many credible
and
testimonies.
They're not even believing their own servicemen.
Right.
That are high-ranking men saying all this shit, and now the current ranking men are like, whatever.
But
you know what I'm saying? It's so fucking
less
crazy.
work, less paperwork.
The thing of it is now in the age we live in, I just feel like very soon it's all gonna come out. And I feel like it's gearing toward that. More and more people are like,
you've been saying that, Rob.
Cut all the bullshit. Can you just fucking admit what we already know and what people already know? A lot of people already know. Can you just admit it? And so we can get past this and come to deal with it.
And go,
whatever that means.
Right.
If there's aliens here living now, or if they're just alien spacecraft and we never even made contact. One way or the other, there's so much proof out there that UFOs exist, extraterrestrials exist, beings from other worlds that are visiting our planet for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying?
And you know, what I've realized, it does. Right now, the way things stand, it takes your own investigation.
Yeah, do your research with an open mind.
Yeah,
that's all we're at.
You got to look these men in the eye and hear their story.
Yeah,
and
you be
weigh
the
it all
judge.
yourself.
Right, because I mean, I love you, brother, but it's just hearsay when you tell me.
Right, especially right now, just trying to sum it up. I don't have the proper footage.
And really, these stories would have been really cool if we went to Roswell when we said we were going to go.
The other thing is...
however, I'm happy we went to Albuquerque.
Yeah, you got to watch. You got to have an open mind.
Yeah.
And then, if you do I'm confident that if you do your own investigation, meaning that you watch multiple things, you'll see them link up. Like, wow, they both got the same bottom line, right. And things like that. But they both describe that exactly the same, things like that. It's very interesting, like right down to where they say when you work for Area 51, you follow the blue line. If you step out of line, you get shot. Like you're supposed to just walk on the blue line and you follow that blue line right to the station you work at. And then when you're done working, you follow the blue line right
don't
back.
be nosy.
You're constantly escorted by a guard. And everybody's stories like that are identical, to the way they do things,
Right.
And once you watch enough of these shoot interviews, you start to realize that, wow, they're and then you start to develop your own opinion. Like, man, it's got to be fact. These guys don't even know each other,
right?
And they're, and they're,
you
a lot of
get
times
deep
they're from
into it.
different countries,
right?
Like a guy will be, one guy's story was his dad worked for Area 51, and his dad shared with him before his dad died all this shit,
right?
So that and that's what it really is the more time you invest into looking it up. I'm confident that you'll find the truth.
Look, and I want to make a closing statement for myself. You all can make closing statements too, but like straight up, I'm in full belief that the government is withholding technology from us.
Oh yeah,
that we could we could all be living a much easier life. We could all be focused on better pursuits than like struggling to pay bills every fucking month. You know what I'm saying? Instead, we're wrapped up in this fucking web of greed and money and power. Like we're being controlled. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think anybody at this table would disagree with that.
And there is a possibility that that's one of the reasons why they want to keep the aliens a secret. They don't want the aliens to come to hear and share what they have and lose all that power and ability. Because I believe these evil people will do whatever they can to maintain their mantle of power, if you will.
I agree. Glow, any final words from you tonight?
Well, that definitely opened up my mind in different perspectives, like the aliens being like peaceful and shit like that. I never thought about that, and now I'm just thinking about how dope it would be if we all just made contact. And then for Rob, the advanced technology, you mentioned the light bulb that could just last forever. Yeah. That really triggered me because I used to buy this fucking light bulb like once a week and it would always go out, and one day I spent like $16 on a light bulb, right, instead of like $2. That motherfucker never went out. And I'm like, if I can buy a better one, okay, so that one probably would have lasted like 5 years. There's probably an even better one that I have
the technology's there.
Kegan, your final words, pal.
All I can say after hearing all of this is Psychopathic from Outer Space Volume 4 is going to be fucking lit as fuck. But no, for real, it was a different show, and I'll be honest, I know a lot of people tuning in maybe weren't ready for this. I know all of us at this table have been working non-fucking stop here at the office. That's not
it's
exaggeration.
It's true, and not on.
It was so good for us to just have a talk, not about work.
But see, that's the problem because we've been working so hard that we haven't been able to prepare our alien proof the way I wanted to.
I know. So
well, at least we got a hell of an album coming out.
Yeah. One thing, how about that Fearless Fred? One thing I do got to talk about that we didn't get to cover at the beginning, Nick and Anthony, if you just got to pull it up real quick, there was a graphic I sent for all of you guys going out to the Shaggy 2 Dope solo tours, which he's out touring. We got new Snapchat filters, so make sure when you're out there, get your selfies with these filters, and we want you to upload them to all your social medias using hashtag ICP, #FFF. I will say Shaggy could not have sent me a better picture. It looks like a mugshot. I thought he was in serious danger when the selfie came to my phone. I go, a smile could have went a long way, but this is the picture we got. But how fresh is that filter? And you might not be able to see it, but there's some dope face paint right there. So make sure you check out Shaggy, Ouija, DJ Carlito, all the boys out on the road. I know we touched a little bit on Juggalo Day. For those that missed the announcement at the beginning, there will be 2 solo performances, correct? At Juggalo Day?
That's right.
Is there anything special you want? Because they're kind of waiting for the Juggalo Day
something
announcement.
Special. Me and Joe Bruce get the fucking rocket show together.
Just for all the people that are tuning in, I just want to make sure we hammer that.
This is what's going down at Juggalo Day or Juggalo Weekend.
Juggalo Day weekend. I'm sorry.
The first night is going to be, as far as me and Shaggy, we're each doing a full set. You know what I mean? Solo style. The next night is going to be a classic Insane Clown Posse concert. There's honestly not going to be a special album we're performing or anything like that because we're full gear, revved up. Fearless Fred Fury. You know what I mean? And that's our full attention. That's been our attention. Shaggy's on tour. And we're just not capable of performing an album or something this year. This year is just about a good time during Mardi Gras in New Orleans.
Oh, and there's some surprises coming.
And there will be something performed, and that'll be some new Fearless Fred Fury music. That's
Yeah.
going to be a lot of fun. You know what
The
I'm saying?
debut.
For the first time.
The debut.
Yeah, for the first time, there'll be some songs we're doing for the first time off the album in the show, and that's going to be cool. But this is about a good time this year and just celebrating the arrival of Fearless Fred. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of work, man. I'm excited for it to get out. But yeah, that's my closing statements. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to hand it back over to Rudy.
Hey, check it out, Juggalos. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. It was an interesting show, just like my homeboy Kegan just said. We're always here, and we're always doing the damn thing, and we're always trying to make this show exciting and fun. We hope you enjoyed it. And if there's some kind of topic that you'd like to hear us debate or talk about, please feel free to hit us up. Hit us up and let us know how we can make the Juggalo Show even better than what it is, which I don't know if that's quite possible. But anyways, like I always say, we're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. Be good to one another. Take care of one another. We love you. Peace.
Woo woo.
Aliens exist.
Maybe.